Welcome to the Budapest Psychic with Reverend Maria D'Andrea. I'm your co-host Mimi. On each episode, we're going to dive deep into the inner workings of our reality, where intuition, energy, and the paranormal converge in one powerful experience, lighting your path to greater achievement and life purpose. Maria is an experienced professional in the spiritual, psychic, and paranormal fields, born in Budapest, Hungary, and an author and public speaker having taught all over the world. What is a PSI Emergency Kit, you ask? Well, we're going to find out, so don't go away. And in the meantime, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Isten hozott. Welcome. And this is my co-host, Mimi.
Hello, everybody, and you are now on the Budapest Psychic with Reverend Maria D'Andrea. And today we're going to be taking a look at a PSI or paranormal emergency kit.
The reason for a psychic emergency kit is sometimes we have situations where we really need something to help us out in a positive way immediately. We're not waiting for other people to help us. We could be by ourselves. It could be a situation where you just need that little extra. So as an example, say you're driving in a car. Okay, you need protection for the car, so that's if somebody was going to cut you off, as an example, okay, it will actually give you the urge to move to a different lane. So as an example, I was driving with a friend of mine years ago, and as we were driving in heavy traffic on the parkways, I really had an urge to shift lanes, and I said to him, "Move over now." Right? And he did. And as we were moving lanes, there was a car coming in. It would have hit us, and it would have hit on my side. So sometimes it'll actually give you like an intuitive urge. If you're parked somewhere, what's going to happen is it's going to protect your car up to a point, because we do actually heavier levels of psychic self-defense, but these still work, right? Unless you get very, very heavy into my field. So as an example, say you're parking in a really bad area, okay, and you're using a tool that we're going to get to protect your car. What's going to happen is somebody wants to steal your car. They're going to steal the car in front of you. They might steal the car in back of you because we didn't change them, okay? So they're going to leave your car alone, or they're going to take a hubcap, but they left your car. So different situations call for different levels of protection. And basically, we always have a positive outlook, always, okay? Because whatever you put out energetically, you and I are always saying everything is vibration, frequency, and energy. So when we're putting all that out, we want to make sure we're only putting positive out so we get positive back. And that's actually an extra layer of protection, okay? The other thing is we do make different tools. So as an example, I was just looking to see where I put mine. We do make medicine bags. Now, shamanically, every shaman can do that, but there are little things that you can do on your own. So I always suggest you want to use a white pouch. Now, as an example, this is more or less what we use, okay? But you can also get like a little piece of white cloth, okay, just like this. Put a stone in it as an example, or something that symbolizes your religious belief or your spiritual belief. Wrap it up, and then you can carry it that way or put it into your car. So we have different options of how to work things. And if you were doing that, what you would do is you would use a crystal. So I think, yep, we have one. So for the car, as an example, the best one is if you're using a clear quartz crystal. Okay. Now, it can look like this. People always think that it has to be pretty and permeated, which, by the way, looks like this. Very pretty. We only need that for specific things. You just need a little piece. So if you put this in your car, anywhere, it's going to give you a level of protection while you're in the car, like I said, the intuitive urge, or it's just going to give you a feeling of being safe. And your car is going to be safer than everybody else in your area. So we work on a stronger level. Now, I was teaching a workshop yesterday, and we were talking about gemstones and other things. And this very nice person in the workshop said to me, well, if I want to put, as an example, in my home, a protection stone, okay, which by the way is this, it's a tiger eye. Okay, so if you look at that, it's a brown stone, has a little gold running through it. Okay, that is your strongest protection stone without going heavier into metaphysics. They do have Apache tear and turquoise, but for what we're doing, this is your best one.
In terms of the crystals, and I don't expect you to like do a whole thing about crystals here. How do you decide, what crystal should be used for each purpose?
A lot of it is just knowledge. We just know from thousands of years how certain gemstones work. Okay. And basically, we have found that most stones have variables. Most stones are good for more than one purpose. Like turquoise is an example. It's good for healing. It's good for protection. It's good for finance. It's good for stability. It's good for so many things. So two things with crystals. One is that before you carry a crystal, ever, any crystal, you have to cleanse the negative energy out of it. Now, what that means is you can have negative energy from people that handled it before you. Everybody was not in a happy mood, right? So what's going to happen is, and this is the easiest way to do it, what's going to happen is that you take the gemstone, or all 20 of them, and you're going to put it into direct sunlight for 3 days. Okay. Now, direct sunlight could be your windowsill. It could be your dresser. People always think, oh, I have to take it outside. No, sunshine. Okay. Because it's the vibration, frequency, and energy that connects to the stone. Now, if you're carrying a gemstone to help you, then you need to have that within 3 feet of your body for it to work for you. Otherwise, it's still working, not necessarily for you. So as an example, and there are a lot of ways to cleanse it. That's just the easiest one. There's no reason to get complicated. It's just more impressive. So as an example, it's kind of like an orangish red, it has different colors in it. It's called, especially green, it's called a bloodstone. Now, what we use a bloodstone for, there's a lot of different meanings for it, but basically what it's for is for healing. So, and this works all the time. I find it's universal, but it's funny. What happens is, say you cut your finger or you cut your hand, right? You take the bloodstone, you put it on top of the bleeding cut, it will stop the bleeding every single time. So I always laugh because if you look at my emergency kit in the trunk of my car, I don't have any antiseptics, I don't have Band-Aids, but I do have bloodstones. Now, if there's, say somebody hurt their leg and there's a big gash, okay, go to the doctor. But anything relatively small, and it doesn't have to cover the whole wound, just some of it, because again, the frequency is healing, and the way it works is it speeds up your natural healing process. So it's very, very positive. The other part of that is it's good for other things like stability and harmony and balance and inner peace. So anytime you're using a stone, especially like the tiger eye, for protection, what you want to do is you hold the stone in your hands, okay, and you focus on energy going into the stone from you, and you focus on the purpose of this stone is for protection. Because otherwise everything is active, which is fine, but sometimes you only want to use it for something specific. Okay, so then you're focusing that energy into it. Otherwise, everything's active, which is still fine. Okay. Now, the other thing that I find that I like is this is called selenite. And actually, if you touch it, it flakes off in your hand. That's why I'm holding it like this. Okay? And that's a charging stone. So say you want to recharge the tiger eye. You want to just leave it overnight or for a couple of hours. You can put it on top of it. You could put it next to it. As long as it's touching it, it's going to heighten the natural energy of the stones or whatever else you have on top of it. Okay, so that's good for your house, but it's also good as an example for your car or if you're traveling. Okay, you want to have a little different level of protection. Okay, if you're home, which is different, if you're home, you can still use those. Again, you can take for protection, you can put the stone, say within 3 feet of your bed, like a nightstand. Okay, now the reason you want to do that, especially at night, is because when you're sleeping, all your defenses are down. You're not thinking, you're not analyzing, you're not working on anything, all your defenses are down. So in that case, you want to make sure that if anything is going on that's negative, it's going to protect you a little bit more. Now, we don't necessarily know people that are going to attack us on purpose energetically, okay? But if somebody's not wishing you well and they're jealous, they're sending you negative energy. Not on purpose, but they're still sending you negative energy. So this way, it's not affecting you, okay? Now, the other thing you can do in your home is you can use a white candle. We always have different tools. Okay, so, matches. I always laugh. I was teaching a class on different color candles and their meanings and image candles. Yeah, and this one lady says, "Well, I don't know what to do to light it." Matches.
Well, sometimes people tend to use those other types of lighting devices, the ones that
Exactly. Exactly.
Now,
So in your home,
yeah.
So in your home, what you would do is you light the candle and just focus on it protecting you and bringing peace and calm, and just let it burn all the way down. Okay.
So,
The only thing you want to remember
yeah.
is that on a candle, you never blow out a candle because it changes the vibration and energy. You just put something over it to snuff it out.
What I was going to say is, does it matter if it's matches or those, little electronic things that, it's funny as I can't even think of what they call them. It's like those lighters, like a lighter, instead of a match. Because I've heard that in certain cultures they believe that you should use natural items to light things as opposed to the lighting methods that they have nowadays.
When you're using anything on this level, on the metaphysical level, okay, then you definitely want to use regular matches because the vibration and the frequency is going to be different on the match. Like this, it's going to be different than if you're using a lighter. Now you have chemicals in it, what the lighter is made out of, but it also has plastic and other things. So the vibration and frequency is different. Okay. Now, if I'm lighting a candle and it has nothing to do with spiritual magic, I'm using whatever's available. But on this level, you would definitely use that. Now, say you're in the car, and I'm not lighting a candle in my car. So if I'm in a bad neighborhood, what I am going to do, and I want to feel positive and have things work on the energy a little bit more, what I am going to do is I can use any form of light because it's still light energy, just not the same way. So you can use a flashlight. I've used my phone. I'm in a bad area. I'm like, oh, let me just turn the phone on for a second. It's not scaring people away physically. It's energetically changing the vibration and the feel around you.
I think that's an interesting perspective because you're basically, it's always understood that when you walk into a lit room, you feel much more comfortable. You feel like the frequency is raised as opposed to walking into something that's dark and you don't know what's going on in there. Somebody could be hiding in the shadows, So I think that makes sense. That makes sense in that regard.
It gives you your spirit kind of a positive, upward mood. Now, another thing you can do, because we have so many options, but we're looking for easy ones today where you don't have to get heavy into the paranormal. So you can also put a religious figure or something that represents your belief system into either your car or when you're traveling. Or I know people that ride motorcycles, they put it somewhere on the bike and you can leave it in your house. So as an example, a lot of people use this called Florida water. Okay. And you would be surprised, they're kind of everywhere. So Florida water has a vibration where if you sprinkle it on the threshold entering your house, and if you have more than one door, anyway you're getting into the house, you're going to sprinkle that on it, and you're focusing on protection again.
Could I ask you about Florida water? Because ever since I was a little girl, Florida water in every neighborhood, they always carried it in every grocery store. And I often wonder, sure, it has a very nice scent, it uplifts you, it makes the area smell good. But what is it about Florida water? Was it Is it the same formula that perhaps like centuries or decades ago they use this and it's maintained as it's been retained as a something for protection?
Some of the ingredient was always used for protection. And then, of course, nowadays they add in a couple of little other things, but nothing that's going to cancel the vibration of the protection. And you'll find a lot of times in different neighborhoods that men will actually use that as a cologne. Okay. Now, some people, when they use that as a cologne, some men know it's protection and they will use it going into a business meeting because I have corporate clients. They will actually use that before they go to a business meeting. Other days, no, they're using whatever they normally like as a scent. And then people don't even connect it, except some of us. Okay. The other thing you can do that's very, very easy is you get a cup. Doesn't matter, glass cup, doesn't matter what it is. You fill it with water and you put sea salt in it and let it sit for at least 3 minutes. Now, sea salt, you just get it at the supermarket. So we don't have to get as technical as people think. We can get technical and sometimes we do. Okay. But I always want to make sure when we do something and I'm teaching or doing workshops or on here, I always want to make sure that there are things that you can do on your own. Because the whole point is the more you can do for yourself, the better the world gets. So with the water, with the sea salt, all you really have to do is you can sprinkle it again, like you did with the Florida water, or you can just leave it in a room and it's going to change the vibration of the room. It's going to make it more positive. And that has to do with the chemistry part of the salt and the water mixing, because we really are the oldest science. Okay. I mean, I'm always saying this. Chemistry came out of alchemy, physics came out of metaphysics. So we are actually a science. So we take a lot of different little formulas. If you look at a lot of my books, they're formulas, but it also has chapters on explaining it. I just don't go do this because you need to understand what you're doing. And with the formulas, if you don't change what is passed down for centuries, for generations, you will always get the same outcome. Like in science, if you mix the same chemicals and the same amount, you're going to get the same outcome every time. And what happens, I find, is you have all these, think of it as recipes. You have recipes from your great-great-grandmother. It's being passed down to you, and everybody loves it. Then somebody in the family is going to come up with a better idea. They're going to tweak it, and then they're going to wonder why it didn't work. Wrong amount, they substituted. This is the same thing. If we stick with known formulas that have been passed down for centuries, okay, you will always get the same outcome. And I'm looking at different tools because sometimes you might relate more to the energy of gemstones. Sometimes you feel more comfortable with a candle. It could be 2 minutes later, you feel, oh, maybe I'd rather use this. So you want to have as many options as you can. Along that line, with the, let me just reach over here, with anything that represents spirituality. I was saying earlier, as an example, doesn't matter what it is, but what you want to do, if possible, is go to somebody and I'm a shaman, but I'm into faith ministry, so I do a lot of different things. But if you get an object that has spiritual meaning to you, has nothing to do with society, if you get it blessed, it's going to have more of a vibration and it will become stronger. You know, and you can go to somebody like me, you can go to somebody in your ministry, whatever you believe in. We tend to look at it from the metaphysical point of view, that there is one source. We don't care how you get there, as long as you're going this way and not this way. So the whole point is to better your life.
You know, how far back would you say this type of information would go?
I'd say 90%, 85, 90% is extremely ancient. If you look at the cavemen, if you look at the drawings on the caves, looking at it scientifically, if you look at the drawings, they will have gemstones and they will have symbols that represent protection in some form or whatever they happen to be working on. So as an example, I'm from Hungary. If you go into the ancient caves in Hungary or Germany or the Scandinavian countries, okay, Any of those. If you go into the really ancient caves and you look at all the pretty drawings, with the people chasing down their food and their lunch, right? If you look at that, they will also have protection symbols. Some of the protection symbols are so ancient that they had it on the caves. We still use them today. So if I'm, say, making up a medicine bag for somebody, or if I'm doing something to increase their business or healing, a lot of the techniques are very, very ancient. Okay. And then we also update. So my books have a lot of ancient methods, but they also have some that I've developed through years. So the way we all develop something on our own is we got the information. Well, let me put it that way. So I'll get the information spiritually. Okay. And then what I'll do is I'll say, oh, let me write this down, because 2 seconds later I'll forget. I always forget what I see in a reading. So I'll write it down. The next day I'll go, oh, I should try this. And I like psychic self-defense. I was just telling somebody the other day. They go, oh, it only takes about 2 hours to learn psychic self-defense with my technique. And I'm always going, but it took me 10 years to make sure that it works every single time. First time you kind of went, let me adjust, right? It took 10 years, because unless it works every single time, you don't use it and you don't pass it on to anybody. Okay, so there's a lot of years in there that people don't realize. They go, oh, you just came up with it? Yeah, years ago. We don't mention that part. And the ancient techniques are very powerful because we've used them for centuries, and we're not going to keep using something that didn't work. Right. So we've used it for centuries because we know those work every single time. Say we're calling in an angel or a positive spirit to help us in a crisis, we will do that. Okay. So when we invoke, that's what it's called. When we invoke some spirit, we have to be very, very careful that we're calling in a positive frequency spirit. Now, even if you're calling in and say an angel, okay, you still need to add positive frequency spirit, because we have positive angels and then we have negative ones, the ones that decided to go this way. They're still spirits. Okay. So we have to be very clear, because we only want a positive frequency to be near us. We don't want anything negative. So we're asking, as an example, you would say that you're asking for a positive frequency spirit to come to protect you. You have to give it a specific job, or you're going to call in a spirit and it's going to go, and what? and it's not going to know what to do. And I always laugh, because you have to be more aware. It's a whole other issue, but you have to be aware. And that's why I say it has to be something on the level of positive frequency, because as an example, I was reading a book years ago, and the book was trying to be positive. You have to remember, some people that write spiritual books are wonderful, wonderful researchers. They're phenomenal. Information is great. We have to give them a lot of credit. Okay. But they don't always understand. And throughout this book, it kept saying that you need to call in a particular spirit because it's going to help you. And it would say it on and off through the book. By the time you got to the end of the book, okay, well, what happened is you're all excited. I got to call in the spirit. It's going to help me. I can send it to help other people, and people are all excited. Okay. If you read something in a book and it has a name of an angel, archangel, spirit, entity, look it up somewhere to see what that entity actually does. Don't just go by, well, the book said it's good. And the reason is, it turned out that the name that people were calling in was a negative entity. They thought they were calling in something positive. They were actually calling in something negative. And then a little at a time, things would go wrong. And they wouldn't connect it, because they're saying, well, the book said it was positive because it's somebody that did research, trying to help, right? And then through time, it would get worse and worse and worse. And now they're saying, oh, well, this is a positive spirit that's supposed to help. I'm going to call it in more. And it just goes like this. Okay. So if you read something in a book, or if you hear something, look it up. The libraries are very good. Google's good now, but you
Well,
have to look it up. Don't just trust it unless you already knew the name.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, you get a lot of that from so many different, people who are in the new age industry, and they'll give you a whole list of names that are, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, and Gabriel, and all that. But you're wondering, where are they getting the information from? I mean, I can understand, like when you channel, you receive, very deep information. You've been at this for a while, but there's some people that may just go to I don't know, just look at any book, any reference book, and say, okay, well, we know that this archangel's for this reason, that reason. But I just, like, sometimes I wonder, how do they confirm it? Like, how do they know that they're getting the right type of help?
First of all, you always look at it from more than one source. And we're all intuitive, all of us. So if you're reading something and it feels off, okay, it could be something that's a negative spirit where they're writing about it, but it could just be that that book is not meant for you because it may not help you. It's not information that connects to your frequency and energy. Okay, so it could just be that. Look for a different source. And we're all intuitive, we all react. I was just saying in a class the other day, what happens, and I teach one-on-one, so it's a little different, but I was saying that's like, I'm in New York, so that's like walking in Manhattan, and you have 8 million walking people behind you. Some are walking, some are bicycling. You have all these people behind you, right? Now, if you're walking in Manhattan on the street and somebody is walking behind you for too long, without fail, every single time, you will turn around because the frequency in your body, your energy, your spirit says, wait, that person's been walking behind me for a really long time. It's out of the norm. Maybe it's a threat. And you're going to turn around. Now, in Manhattan, everybody's walking means nothing, right? But if you're walking down the street at night and there aren't a lot of people and somebody's walking behind you for too long, you're not physically turning around to constantly look who's behind you, but you will get that warning signal because it's a survival instinct. So we're all intuitive. You need to pay attention to your survival instinct.
Well, also, what I've learned over the years is that you can feel the energy of somebody around you. And if you sense like that person's lagging there way too long, and I mean, if you can feel it, you can basically know that that person's very close to you. Because even though our auras go out pretty far, but still, I mean, if you feel them, they're too close. So, and having been a New Yorker, I mean, I automatically have this protective, you know, uh, barrier because I'm aware of what people can do, so I'm street smart. So that has always been my way of, making sure that I'm safe.
We have different brain waves, and I'm always saying that we have different brain waves, and one of them is fight or flight, right? So you have to have that feel first that something's off so you can make that decision. Your decision normally, if possible, should always be run because you don't know what capability the other person has. Okay, now that's not my reaction because I'm in the paranormal field. So they should be more careful around me. But in general, it'll give you that feel, and then depending on the situation, you react one way or the other. Okay? But I find when you have different levels of protection, it really does change your energy and your frequency. So if somebody was around you and you didn't do anything with the protection, just a friend, okay, what's going to happen is they will feel whatever your normal energy is. But now you add on the protection, your energy will shift a little bit in a positive way. So that somebody that knows you may say, is there something new going on in your life? You seem happier or lighter or more up. How's everything going? Yeah. We don't say, well, we're carrying protection. We go, I don't know. Some things we don't explain to everybody. But the point is that everybody can use it on some level if they choose to. Okay, because we always need to be a little bit safer. That does not mean we are always going to run into issues where we need it, but one of those people that I'd like to be prepared ahead of time, planning on never having to use it, rather than go, surprise. Okay, so it's a little bit on the positive level in that way. The other thing that I would like to mention is if you're going to call in or invoke a spirit to help you, only do that as your last resort. Use the other tools. Okay, and the reason is this: if you're calling in a spirit, you're opening a portal, a doorway. So even though you're asking, say, as an example, an angelic force to come, you don't know what's hitchhiking. So first of all, I wouldn't even ask for an angel without a protection stone, without the tiger eye, just because that's the strongest one for what we're doing. Okay. The other thing is, people don't always think about the job an angel has. Okay, so spirits and angels, as an example, they have specific jobs. So say you're calling in Archangel Michael, right? Who is for protection, mainly protection, right? So you're calling in Archangel Michael because you have a situation in your family or in your love life. Archangel Michael has no clue how to help you. It's not his job. So people go, oh, I called him in, nothing helps, nothing's working. No, that's like calling in somebody that's a plumber, right, to come and fix your car. Now, he may know it's a side thing as a guy, but he's not going to know. Okay. Or somebody was telling me the other day, they were calling in the goddess Venus, which is for love. And that could be family, friends. It's not just romantic, it includes romantic. So she's calling in Venus and she's very upset. She called me up and she says, I keep calling it in and there's nothing going on. I see no improvement. It's been a couple of months now because you do have to give it time sometimes. And I said, well, what part of your love life, your love energy, are you calling in Venus to help you with? And she goes, no, no, no. She says, I've been having a lot of problems with my car. And she's not helping me. I'm like, it's not her job. She has no idea about the car. You need to call in a spirit connected to a car or some vehicle. Venus knows nothing. Not that she doesn't want to help. She has no clue how to fix your car. So you have to be aware of a lot of little things. That's why it's better just to call in the positive frequency spirit for whatever you're working on at the time. The universe supplies.
Well, I know that, when it comes to Archangel Michael, many people say, that's the person you call in if you have to, for protection, for,
Things.
Maybe people attacking you verbally or emotionally. There could be so many different reasons. I mean, what specifically would I know he was a warrior. So would would he only be for circumstances that are heavily military, for instance?
But first of all, he also helps with balance. I don't know how much people know about him, but he works on helping you with inner balance and balancing your life in the physical reality, the physical realm. Okay. And what people don't know on the metaphysical side is Archangel Michael will help you if you're doing something where you're astral traveling, when you're going out of body. So it's a little bit like having a safety guide. So if you're going out of body, he will come and he will help you to navigate the different realms and to protect you on the different realms when you're there. It's a little bit more involved. But basically, I want to make sure that people can use these tools without having any fallout. Because I feel the more knowledge you have, the better you can do things, the better you can improve your life, and you can help other people. If I always laugh because sometimes people go, well, I want to work on money, but I don't really need a lot of money. So part of me always goes, well, if you make more money, you can help more family and friends and other people. Money's not evil. Okay, it's the love of. So if you put money first before whatever your spiritual belief is, okay, that's not that positive. If you put it second, we're good. Because when you think of whatever you believe your source is, if you think of your source wants you to be happy and wants you to do better and wants you to feel good. Your source isn't saying, listen, there's a limit. Because spiritually, there isn't any.
Yeah,
It's a matter of what you're comfortable with.
and I think that comes from a lot of belief systems that tell you that, oh, this is evil, you shouldn't be, striving for that. Yeah, you have the right to have comfort in your life, so why not have whatever it takes to have that comfort and to not only help yourself, but to help others as well? I mean, what is the problem with that? I mean, where does everybody get the idea that money is evil in any way? I mean, it just doesn't make sense.
And I understand that some people learn it from different cultures in their neighborhood, other people, somebody might have said something when they were young and it just stuck with them. But when you look at it, everything is energy and frequency in the universe. Everything is energy. So if you're looking at vibration, frequency, and energy, okay, it doesn't matter if it's money, if it's a table, if it's, flowers, doesn't matter what it is. That's what everything in the universe is made up of, and I love that science backs us up. We've known it for centuries, but it's cute that they can prove it now. We really work with the scientific community a lot, though. We do. And they're wonderful. And by the way, if they disprove something, we're okay with that because we're open to learning. Okay. So far, a lot of the things like brain waves, we've always known that there's a shift in your brain wave when we work psychically. We could feel it and we see things differently. Okay. And we know things in a different way. And scientists have now proven it. Where they have labels for it and everything else, which is great. So we always laugh and go, oh, okay, you just discovered this. We've known it for centuries. Okay, it's cute. But we do appreciate the backup.
So is there any last minute things you want to add to this topic?
I just want to say thank you for joining us today, and may God bless you abundantly.
Don't forget to join us for more fascinating shows with the Budapest Psychic as we bring more stimulating content. And for those who are eternally curious, stop by for the next show on the afterlife. Please like, share, and subscribe to get these shows to other like-minded seekers. For anyone looking for further information on Maria's services, contact her using any of these methods. We'll see you next time on the Budapest Psychic.